Hey, are you one of those homeowners who's thinking, I would love to sell my house right now and take advantage of these crazy prices, but I just have no idea where I would go afterwards? Well, don't worry, you're not alone. So that's what I want to talk about today. So where are all these homeowners going once they sell their house? And there's actually more than a couple answers to this, so let's start at the top and work our way down. So the first option is, very simply, if you're able to afford both mortgages, you can absolutely purchase your new home before selling your old home. Now, there definitely are pros and cons to this, like having two mortgages, but if that's something that you decide is financially responsible for you and your family, there's nothing in the rule book saying that you can't do that. The pros to that, of course, are you're able to take your time finding your new home, then you can move into it without rushing, and once your old home is vacant, it's a lot easier to do things like repairs and bring in staging, and schedule those showings as well, because you're not having to dance around, scheduling showings between your life and things like that. Now, obviously not everybody has the flexibility to move like this, so the next option is a contingency. So a contingent offer just means that your offer over here on this new home is contingent or subject to the successful closing of your old home. Now, you already know that this area is really hot, so to be perfectly honest, these do not have high rates of success when you're looking at resale homes, okay? But where these do come into play and are a lot more successful is if you're looking to buy a new construction home. So let's say a builder is releasing 5, 10, maybe even more than that, lots in an area that they're just breaking ground on, and it's gonna take 6 to 12 months to complete. So a builder in this case is gonna be a lot more likely to accept a contingent offer because you guys can't close on that new home until it's completely built anyway. So you already have 6 to 12 months in your timeline to get that home sold. So we're seeing a lot more success with those contingent sales over here with those builders. And the beauty of that, there are a couple nice things if you are in the market for a brand new home. The first is you're able to dictate what your closing date is over here a lot more easily. So if you need that buyer, whoever makes that offer and wins that offer on your home, you're able to ask them as part of terms of their offer to make that closing date align with the closing date over here for your new home. You also, if you're getting in that early in the game for a new construction home, a lot of builders will give you the opportunity to pick which lot you want, pick the floor plan that you want, and a lot of the finishes and design aspects of the home as well. So that can be a lot of fun to actually have a hand in the building process of your home. And you get to see the creation every step of the way, from when they pour the foundation all the way up to the finishing touches. And that can be a really cool experience. So the next strategy that we use all the time when transitioning our sellers into their new homes is called a seller rentback. And this is just an agreement between the new buyer and the seller that says after we close, the seller has a rental agreement with the new buyer, or now the homeowner, right? To stay in that home for 2 days, 2 weeks, or 2 months, whatever you decide on. So then the seller can stay in the home for a little while longer. Now this is really helpful because it allows the money from the closing to make it into the seller's bank account. Now they can use that money for a down payment on their new home and moving costs or whatever you need that money for, without having it be contingent on the sale of that home. So when you go to make your offer over here on your new house, it's a much stronger offer because it's not contingent upon anything. This house is already closed, you already have the money, you're able to make that larger down payment because you've already got that equity in your pocket. And that has been really helpful for our sellers that we've been working with. So now I want to talk not so much about the strategies of how we're helping sellers meet their goals, but more so the migration patterns that we're seeing. Increasingly, we've seen more and more homeowners in Washington decide to sell and actually move out of state. Last year alone, we've seen a huge increase in people moving to sunnier states like Arizona, Texas, Florida, and even Hawaii. Many homeowners are coming to terms with the fact that moving out of state means they don't have to compromise between more space and a smaller budget. So this has been a great option for a lot of people who wanted to move closer to family. Maybe they're getting closer to retirement age and they're trying to figure out, well, where do I want to spend my freedom years? And more than a couple who are realizing that working from home in their career field likely is not going to end even once we get a vaccine and the pandemic starts coming to an end. They're likely just going to continue working from home in whatever line of work that they're doing. So we have seen quite a few people moving out of state. And if that's something that you're interested in, we are connected with amazing agents all over the country. So if you're trying to find a good agent, get a feel for what that would look like, go ahead and let me know and we'll connect you with somebody who in one of those areas that you're looking at. Another migration pattern that has really jumped off the page just last year alone was migration out of the larger cities. Of course, we've been talking about COVID until our faces are blue, but a lot of people who are able to work from home are realizing that just as I said for those people moving out of state, that's probably not going to end, or they're definitely not going to be going back to 5 days a week as the pandemic comes to an end. So they're realizing that if they move further out, they're able to get a lot more land for a lot smaller price. We've seen a huge migration out of some of the larger cities and into the smaller cities. I mean, so much so that Frederickson, Graham, Spanaway, and Milton were on the top 10 list of highest appreciating cities in the country. And those are all right here in our backyard. So it's very obvious that a lot of people are moving out to get that bigger yard space, maybe get a larger home. So I hope that helps shed some light on what we're doing here in the Puget Sound area and how we're helping our sellers achieve their goals, whatever they are, whether you want to move out of state, you want to move out of the city, or if you want to move next door. It is absolutely attainable to be able to move and buy something that you really, really love, even with the market in the state that it is. If you have any questions about today's video or are curious what that game plan would look like for you and your family, if you're considering a move, feel free to reach out anytime. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.